Amidst the hustle of 19th century America, two German immigrants took a struggling brewery and transformed it into a beer dynasty that would eventually dominate the world. This is the story of visionaries who built an empire, endured heartbreaking tragedies, and navigated personal and corporate battles that left a lasting mark on the American beer landscape and its cultural identity. But how exactly did Anheuser-Busch rise to become the titan of American beer? And what caused its fall from greatness, leaving its future hanging in the balance? Let's find out. The story begins in the early 1800s with Eberhard Anheuser, born in Germany in 1806. In the 1840s, he made the bold decision to immigrate to the United States. Eberhard initially found success as a candle maker and soap manufacturer, but his life took a sharp turn after the tragic loss of his wife in 1854. Seeking a new path, he turned his focus and finances to brewing beer. In 1860, one of Anheuser's clients, the Bavarian Brewing Company, went bankrupt. Rather than taking a financial hit, Anheuser saw a chance for growth and bought the struggling business, renaming it E. Anheuser & Co. Bavarian Brewery. It was during this time that he crossed paths with Adolphus Busch, a young supplier who would soon become his most crucial ally. Adolphus, like Eberhard, had also immigrated from Germany, arriving in the U.S. in 1857 and initially working as a steamboat inspector. When his father passed away just 2 years later, Busch inherited a substantial sum, which he used to start a brewery supply business. In 1861, he solidified his connection to the Anheuser family by marrying Eberhard's daughter, Lily, in a double wedding alongside his brother Ulrich, who married another of Eberhard's daughters. With this union, the partnership between Eberhard and Adolphus blossomed, combining Anheuser's business instincts and determination with Busch's forward-thinking ideas to transform the brewery's future. However, it wasn't until 1874 that Busch and Anheuser officially became partners. Their most famous brew, Budweiser Lager beer, came along 2 years later and soon became synonymous with quality beer in America. The company underwent a rebranding in 1879, becoming Anheuser-Busch, and by 1885, they were leading the pack in annual production. With increased production and clever marketing, the company's sales were soaring, and it seemed like the sky was the limit for Anheuser-Busch. But as we know, every great story has its tragedies. Eberhard Anheuser passed away in 1880 from throat cancer, leaving behind a substantial estate. Interestingly, all of Eberhard's children inherited this wealth except for his son, William, who received only $1 from that estate, the reasons for which remain a mystery. Now that Eberhard was no more, Adolphus stepped into the leadership role, and under his guidance, Anheuser-Busch pioneered the use of refrigerated railcars for transporting beer, ensuring freshness across the nation. He also built an impressive mansion near the brewery to keep a close eye on operations. By 1885, Anheuser-Busch was the leading brewer in St. Louis, and in 1891, Busch became the first to reach an agreement with workers during a strike. By the late 1890s, Budweiser had become America's go-to beer. In 1906, Adolphus caught pneumonia, marking the beginning of a decline that would end with his untimely death in 1913. His estate was valued at around $60 million, a staggering sum in those days, passed down to his son, August Anheuser-Busch Sr., who now took the reins of the company. But the company, now a titan in the brewing industry, had to navigate the turbulent waters of the time, especially with World War I stirring tensions regarding German heritage. Lily Busch had returned to Germany just before the war broke out. Her travels, which once seemed routine, turned into a major ordeal. In 1918, Lily came back to the United States to claim Adolphus's estate, but she was met with an unexpected obstacle: the alien property law. Due to rising anti-German sentiment, the state of California seized her property, claiming she was a German American who might hold pro-German sentiments. Eventually, she succeeded in proving her loyalty to the United States, but the turbulent times for the Busch family didn't end with property battles. In 1930, Adolphus Buppy Busch Arthwain, Adolphus Busch's grandson through his daughter Clara, was kidnapped in a dramatic incident that made national headlines. The abduction occurred on New Year's Eve as a masked gunman hijacked the family's limousine, taking 13-year-old Buppy. Buppy was taken to a house, tied to a chair, and had a sack placed over his head. The following day, the family received a call, not with a ransom demand, but simply the assurance that Buppy would be returned unharmed. His kidnapper, Charles Abernathy, was a struggling father of 7 who had even fed the boy during the ordeal. Though Abernathy initially fled, he was later arrested and served time in jail. The kidnappings and external threats paled in comparison to the internal struggles within the Busch family. August Anheuser-Busch Sr., who had led the company through the challenges of prohibition by diversifying into non-alcoholic products and other ventures, faced his own demons. In 1934, suffering from heart disease and other ailments, Busch Sr. took his own life. After asking his chauffeur to turn on some music, he shot himself, leaving behind a note for his family that read, "Goodbye, precious mommy and adorable children." In the aftermath, August Gussie Busch Jr. took the reins of Anheuser-Busch in 1946. Known for his larger-than-life personality, Gussie was both charming and ruthless. Described as a barroom brawler with an appetite for excess, he seemed born to lead the company. However, his personal life was riddled with tragedy. In 1974, his youngest daughter Christina was killed in a devastating car accident, further deepening the family's misfortunes. Fast forward to the late 20th century, and August Busch IV emerged as the next torchbearer for the family legacy. Yet, his journey would be marked by personal and professional turbulence. In 1983, as a student at the University of Arizona, he was involved in a fatal car crash at a notorious local spot known as Dead Man's Curve. 2 years later, Busch was involved in a police chase in St. Louis that ended with officers disabling the vehicle. He claimed to the police that he was being chased by kidnappers, resulting in officers changing his tire and allowing him to leave. Shortly thereafter, he began his career at Anheuser-Busch as chief of marketing. By 2006, he was appointed president and CEO of the company, which was facing significant challenges. Despite a history of successful marketing campaigns, including the iconic Budweiser Frogs, and record sales in the late 1980s, Anheuser-Busch was struggling under Busch IV's leadership. The hiring of Peter Stokes as the first non-family CEO marked a turning point for the company. Faced with declining beer sales as liquor gained popularity, Anheuser-Busch encountered several lawsuits, including one from Miller Beer. In 2008, a $46.3 billion acquisition bid from Belgian company InBev forced Busch IV into a sale that ultimately concluded at $52 billion, resulting in his ousting. With August Busch IV forced out of leadership, the company explored a new chapter under foreign ownership. InBev, now Anheuser-Busch InBev, became the largest beer company in the world, streamlining operations and expanding its global reach. While the brand remained a household name, the cultural identity that had been so carefully crafted by generations of the Busch family gradually faded. So, what part of Anheuser-Busch's story stood out to you the most and why? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe to the channel for more Tales of Titans who've shaped the world as we know it. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.